Daddy, what you want? What you want? Oh yeah, we're just so proud of you.
Good morning, Shelton High School. Hello. So glad that the juniors and seniors are in the house. Freshmen and sophomores, I know you guys are watching on the live stream. Thank you. I'm Mrs. Hughes, the Director of Fine Arts, the Director of the show, The Matchmaker. Hopefully your teachers had a chance to share with you what happens in the first half of this play, because we're going to show you the second half. Normally we show you the first half of the play. Today we're showing you the second half so that all of our cast can have a chance to perform in front of you guys, and you'll see a really cool set change. This play takes place in New York City in the 1880s, and if you haven't had a chance to know what happens in Act 1, it's really about a man named Horace Van de Gelder, played by Caleb Wilson, and a woman named Dolly Levi, played by Jen Jim Dayton. Jen's character is a matchmaker. She puts couples together. Dylan Tompkins and Kingston Moore are playing the clerks that work for Caleb's character. They've run away from the store, met two cute girls, they're out to dinner, and unfortunately, Mr. Van de Gelder is also at the same restaurant, so chaos ensues. Don't worry about trying to get it. We're showing you Act 2, so you won't totally get it. And let that go. Don't worry about it. Sit back, enjoy these performances, the hard work of these actors and these crew members. 55 of your friends and neighbors have worked on this show. Your job as audience is to be respectful, engaging, feel free to laugh. You're in a live theater is about a relationship between the actors and the audience. So you're in this relationship. It takes so much courage to be out here, so please respect them. Just like you athletes in the crowd, when we come and watch you, I know it takes courage to do your sport and do your best in front of a lot of people, and that's what they're doing. So that mutual respect is really important. Thanks for being here, and enjoy the show. It's going to run just about an hour. Please enjoy Act 2 of The Matchmaker.
Tossing ring around rosy London bridges falling down. Boys and girls together, me and Mamie O'Rourke. fantastic on the sidewalks of New York. Boys and girls together, me and Mamie O'Rourke, trip the lights fantastic on the sidewalks of New York.
There'll be 2 ladies and myself.
Bad combination, Mr. Vandergelder. You'll regret it.
And I want a chicken.
A chicken. You'll regret it.
Hold your tongue. Write it down now. Chicken.
Yes, sir. Chicken Esterhazy, chicken cacciatore, chicken à la crème.
A chicken! A chicken like everybody else has. And with that chicken, I'd like a bottle of wine.
Moselle, Chablis, Vouvray.
He doesn't understand English, Mr. Vandergelder. You better speak louder.
Chicken! Wine! W-I-N-E. Wine!
W-I-N-E, vine.
And I want this table removed. Let this table alone.
There are some people coming in here now, Mr. Vandergelder.
What? It's my niece Ermengarde. What's she doing here? Wait till I get my hands on her.
Mr. Vandergelder, you must keep your temper.
And she's with that rascal artist. What are they doing here? Why, it's a plot. Have them thrown in jail.
Mr. Vandergelder, they're old enough to come to New York. You can't throw people in jail for coming to New York.
And there's Mrs. Levi with them. What's she doing here? Why, it's a plot. It's a conspiracy. What's she saying to that cabman? Go up there and listen.
She's telling the cabman to wait, Mr. Vandergelder. She's telling the young couple to come in and have a good time, Mr. Vandergelder.
I'll put an end to this.
Mr. Vandergelder, if you lose your temper, you'll make matters worse. Mr. Vandergelder, come here and take my advice.
Stop pulling at me. What's your advice?
Hide, Mr. Vandergelder. Hide behind this screen and listen to what they say.
Ermengarde, dear, there's nothing wicked about eating in a restaurant. There's nothing wicked even about being in New York. Clergymen just make those things up to fill out their sermons.
Oh, I wish I were back in Yonkers where nothing ever happens.
Ermengarde, you're hungry. That's what's troubling you?
Anyway, after dinner, you promised me we would go to Aunt Flora's house. She must be half dead of fright.
All right, but of course you know at Miss Van Heusen's you'll be back in your uncle's hands.
I can't stand it.
Just keep telling yourself how pretty she is. Pretty girls have very little opportunity to improve their other advantages.
Listen, Ermengarde, stop and think. You don't want to go back to your uncle, that old man with one foot in the grave,
And the other 3 in a cash box.
smelling of oats.
And axle grease.
That's not true. That's only partly true.
Hold your tongue. Teach them a lesson.
Keep your temper, Mr. Vandergelder. Listen to what they say.
Oh, dear. What was I saying? Oh, yes, the Lord be praised. How glad I am that I found you 2 dreadful children just as you are about to break poor dear Mr. Vandergelder's heart.
He's got no heart to break.
Mr. Vandergelder's a much kinder man than you think.
Kind. He's a wolf.
Remember that he leads a very lonely life. Now you're going to have dinner upstairs. There's some lovely private rooms just meant for shy, timid girls like Ermengarde. Come with me.
I'll teach them a lesson.
Everybody should eavesdrop once in a while. I always say, there's nothing like eavesdropping to show you. The world outside your head is different from the world inside your head.
I want to write a note. Go and call that cabman in here. I want to talk to him.
No one asks advice of a cabman, Mr. Vandergelder. They see so much of life that they have no ideas left.
Just do as I say.
Yes, sir. Advice of a cabman.
Dear Miss Van Heusen, everybody's dear in a letter. It's enough to make you stop writing them. This is Ermengarde and that rascal artist. They're trying to run away. Keep them in your house until I come.
What's you want?
I want to talk to you.
I'm engaged. I'm waiting for my parties.
Oh, I know. How would you like to make $5?
Huh?
I said, how would you like to make $5?
I don't know. I've never tried.
When those parties of yours come downstairs, take them to this address. Never mind what to say. Take them to this address. Give this letter to the lady of the house. Keep them there.
I can't make people go into a house if they don't want to.
You can for $10.
Even for $10, I can't do it alone.
This man will help you.
Now I'm pushing people into houses.
Here's the address. 8 Jackson Street, New York.
Well, even if I get them through the door, I can't be sure they'll stay there.
You can for $15.
Murder begins at $25.
Hold your tongue. Give this letter to the lady of the house and she'll help you. All you have to do is make sure that the man doesn't run away with the girl. I'll be there in an hour, so it'll help you.
If they call the police, I can't do anything.
It's perfectly honest business. Perfectly honest.
Every man's the best judge of his own honesty.
The girl is my niece. The girl is my niece. She's trying to run away with a good-for-nothing, and we're preventing it.
They'll win in the end. They always do. Rivers don't run uphill.
What did I tell you, sir? Advice of a cabman.
Stack! I will be back in half an hour. Make sure that no one sits here. Make sure that this table is set for 3. And when you're done, go and join the cabman on the box.
Yes, sir.
Who's your friend?
Friend, that's not a friend. That's an employer I'm trying out for a few days.
You won't like him.
I can see you're in business for yourself because you talk about liking employers. No one's liked an employer since business began.
Aw.
No, sir. I suppose you think your horse likes you?
Why, Clementine? She'd give her right feet for me.
That's what all employers think. Imagine it. The streets of New York are full of cab horses, winking at one another. Let's go into the kitchen and get some whiskey. I can't push people into houses when I'm sober. No, I've had around 50 employers in my life, but this one is the most employer of them all. He talks to everybody as if we were paying them.
I had an employer once. He watched me from 8 in the morning till 6 at night. He just sat there and watched me. Oh dear. Even my mother didn't think I was that interesting.
Yes, being employed is like being loved. You know that somebody's thinking about you the whole time.
See, this is the place I meant. Isn't it fine? Minnie, take off your things. We'll be here for hours.
Are you sure you like it here, Mrs. Malloy? I think I feel a draft.
Indeed, I do like it. It's private and it's elegant. Now, let's forget all our troubles and call each other by our first names. Cornelius, call the waiter.
Wait. I must have lost my voice. I think I caught a cold on the ride over here. Wait. No, it won't come.
Barnaby, you call the waiter.
Waiter!
I never thought I'd be in such a place. Mrs. Malloy, is this what they call a cafe?
It is. Come sit down, Minnie. Cornelius, Mrs. Levi gave us to know that every waiter in New York knows you.
They will.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
How are you, Fritz? How are you, my friend?
I'm Rudolph.
Rudolph. Of course. Rudolph. Well, Rudolph, these ladies want a little something to eat, you know what I mean? Just if you can find the time. We know how busy you are.
Rudolph. Cornelius, there's no need to be so familiar with the waiter.
Oh, yes. There is.
Minnie, what do you want to eat?
Oh, just anything, Irene.
No, speak up. What do you want?
No, really, I have no appetite at all. Oh. I'd like sardines on toast and a glass of milk.
Great heavens. What a sensible girl. Barnaby, shake Minnie's hand. She's the most sensible girl in the world. Well, Rudolph, us two gentlemen will have 2 glasses of beer, a loaf of bread, and some cheese.
I've never heard of such nonsense. Minnie, have you ever tried pheasant?
Pheasant? No.
Rudolph, have you any pheasant?
Yeah, ma'am. Justin from New Jersey today.
Even the pheasants are leaving New Jersey. Now, Rudolph, write this down. Mock turtle soup,
Mock turtle soup,
pheasant,
pheasant,
mashed chestnuts,
mashed chestnut,
green salad,
green salad,
and some nice red wine.
and some nice red vine.
Barnaby, you watch this. Rudolph, write this down. Neapolitan ice cream,
Neapolitan ice cream,
hothouse peaches,
hot sauce peaches,
champagne,
Champagne!
and a German band. Have you got a German band?
No, Cornelius. I won't let you be extravagant. Champagne, but no band. Now, Rudolph, be quick about this. We're hungry.
Yes, ma'am.
Minnie, I have an idea about your hair. I think if we do 2 wee horns.
Ooh, horns.
Cornelius, they say in jail you have to peel potatoes all the time.
Oh, don't worry about that, Barnaby. By the time we get out of jail, we can go straight over to the old men's home.
Waiter, what's that you have?
It's some champagne, ma'am.
Oh, Cornelius, it's our champagne.
Oh, no. This is for His Honor, the Mayor of New York, and he's very impatient.
Well, the mayor of New York has more important things to be impatient about. Cornelius, open it.
But ma'am, it'll kill
I go to a public restaurant for the first time in 10 years, and all the waiters burst into tears. Here, take that. Stop crying, love. Barnaby, I want you to make a toast.
To all the ladies in the world, may I get to know more of them and may I get to know them better.
To the ladies.
That was very sweet and very refined. Minnie, for that, I'm going to give Barnaby a kiss.
Oh.
Oh, hold your tongue. I'm old enough to be his mother. Barnaby, this is to you from all the ladies in the world.
I can finally go back to Yonkers, Cornelius. Pudding.
See, Barnaby isn't strong enough for a kiss. His head can't stand it. Oh, Minnie, I'm enjoying myself. To think this goes on in hundreds of places while I'm at home darning my stockings. Cornelius, dance with me.
Irene, the Hackles don't dance. We're Presbyterian.
Minnie, you dance with me.
Lovely music.
Minnie, you dance beautifully.
We girls dance in the workroom when you're not looking, Irene.
You thought I'd be mad? Oh, Minnie, no one understands anyone else in the world. Cornelius, Jenny Lynn and those other ladies, do you talk to them often?
Irene, I put them completely out of my mind. I'm interested in...
Rudolph, what are you doing?
A table has been reserved here. Special orders.
That table can eat inside. The veranda's ours.
I'm very sorry, ma'am, but the veranda's open to anyone who wants it. Ah, there's the man who brought the orders.
Take your table inside. We got here first. Cornelius, throw him out.
Ma'am, my employer reserved this table at 4 o'clock this afternoon. You can go and eat in the restaurant. My employer said it was very important that he have a table alone.
Well, we're going to stay here alone, too.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have a suggestion.
Shut up, you. You're an impertinent, idiotic killjoy.
That's an insult.
All the facts about you are insults. Cornelius, do something. The table, knock it over.
Knock it over?
I'm very sorry, but this room cannot be reserved by anyone. If you want to eat alone, you must go upstairs. I'm sorry, but that is the rule.
We're going to stay here and have a good dinner. Cornelius, knock it over.
Wait till you see my employer.
Where is he? I'll knock him down too.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'll tell you what we'll do. We have this screen here. We'll put it in between your tables. August, come help me.
I won't eat behind a screen. I won't. Minnie, make a sound. We're not animals in a menagerie. No screen. I won't. No screen. No screen. No screen. No screen.
Now you'll learn something. There comes my employer now, getting out of that cab.
It's Wolf Trap. Yes, it is.
Wolf Trap. Listen, everybody. I think the screen's a great idea. In fact, we could do with more screens. Rudolph, have you got 3 or 4?
Cornelius, be quiet and stop changing your mind. Rudolph, we're ready for the soup.
The soup!
Stack! What is this? I thought I asked for this table alone.
I did the best I could, Mr. Vandergelder. Mr. Vandergelder, you would not believe what wild savages the people of New York are. There's a woman over there, Mr. Vandergelder. Civilization hasn't touched her.
Everything's wrong. You can't even handle a simple thing like this. Help me with my coat. Don't kill me. Don't kill me.
What? I can't understand what you're saying.
Barney, how's your throat? Can you speak? Can't make a sound.
All right, bring your heads together. We'll whisper.
Who's over there?
Some city sparks and their girls, Mr. Vandergelder. What goes on in big cities, Mr. Vandergelder? Best not think of it.
Has that couple come down from upstairs yet? I hope they haven't run away without you noticing.
No, sir. Myself and the cabman have kept our eyes on everything.
Well, I'll wait here for my parties. Go and join the cab.
Yes, sir. Eh? What's this? A purse. Did you drop something, Mr. Vandergelder?
What? No, just do as I say.
A purse. That fellow over there must have dropped it during the misunderstanding about the screen. No, I won't look inside. $20 bills. Dozens of them. I'll go give it back to him. You're surprised? You're surprised to see me get rid of this money so quickly, eh? I'll explain it to you. There was a time in my life when my chief interest was picking up money that didn't belong to me. The law is there to protect property, but sure, the law doesn't care if a property owner deserves his property or not, and the law needs to be corrected. There are several thousands of people in this country engaged in correcting the law at this very moment. For a while, I too was engaged in the redistribution of superfluities. Stealing's a weakness. There are some people who say you should have no weaknesses at all, no vices. But if a man has no vices, then he's at great risk of making vices out of his virtues. So here's some advice. Nurse one vice in your bosom. Give it the attention it deserves, and let your virtues spring up bountifully around it. Then you'll have the miser, who's no liar, the drunkard, who's the benefactor of the whole city. After I had the weakness of stealing for a while, I developed another. I took to whiskey. Whiskey took to me. And then I discovered an important rule that I'm going to share with you today. Never support two weaknesses at the same time. It's your combination sinners, your miserly drunkards and your lecherous liars, who dishonor their vices and bring them into bad repute. So now you see why I want to get rid of this money. I want to keep my mind clear so I can do the credit to whiskey that it deserves. And my last words to you, ladies and gentlemen, is this: one vice at a time. Excuse me, may I speak to you for a minute?
Yes, sir. We all want to apologize about the screen, that little incident.
Yes, we're very, very sorry.
Now, what is your name?
Oh, Stack, sir. Malachi, Stack. If you ladies will excuse us for a minute, I'd like to speak to you. Come here. Come here. Listen, have you lost something?
Why, Mr. Stack, in this one day I've lost everything I own.
Here it is. Don't mention it.
You know what it is? It's a miracle, Mr. Stack.
Oh, it's nothing.
Barnaby, come here and shake Mr. Stack's hand. He found the purse I lost. You know, the purse with all the money?
You're a wonderful man, Mr. Stack.
I'm certainly glad I went to church all these years. You're a good person to know, Mr. Stack. By the way, where do you work?
Oh, I've just begun. I work for a Mr. Vandergelder in Yonkers.
Oh, it is a miracle. Well, Mr. Stack, I know you don't need it, but we'd take anything for the good deed.
Oh, it's nothing.
Take that.
Don't mention it.
And that.
I really ought to be going.
And that.
No, I might start to like them.
Irene, I feel a lot better about things. I feel so good, in fact, I think I'm ready to tell you the truth.
All right. What is the truth?
Well, if I tell you the truth, will you let me put my arm around your waist?
Woo! Minnie, hold your tongue. Yes, you could put your arm around my waist, but I have to warn you, a corset is a corset.
You're a wonderful person, Mrs. Malloy.
Thank you. All right, that's enough. What is the truth?
Well, I'm not as rich as Mrs. Levi said I was.
Not rich?
I almost never came to New York, and I'm not like she said I was. Bad. And I think you ought to know, at this very minute, Mr. Vandergelder's sitting on the other side of that screen.
What? Well, he won't spoil any party of mine. So that's why you've been whispering. Let's forget all about Mr. Vandergelder and enjoy ourselves.
East side, west side, all around the town. The thoughts sang ring around rosy London bridges falling down.
Good evening, Mr. Vandergelder.
Where's Miss Simple?
Oh, Mr. Vandergelder, I'll never trust a woman again as long as I live.
Well, what is it?
She ran away this afternoon and got married.
She did?
Married, Mr. Vandergelder, to a young boy of 50.
She did.
Oh, I'm as disappointed as you are. I can't eat a thing. What have you ordered?
Well, I ordered what you told me to. A chicken.
I don't think I could face a chicken. Oh, waiter, how do you do? What's your name?
August, ma'am.
August. This is Mr. Vandergelder of Yonkers, Yonkers' most influential citizen, in fact. I want you to see that he's served with the best you have, and served promptly. Mr. Vandergelder's been through some trying experiences today, what with men hidden all over Mrs. Malloy's door like bandits in ambush.
Mrs. Levi, you don't have to tell them everything about me.
Mr. Vandergelder, if you're thinking about getting married, you might as well learn right now you have to let women be women. Now, August, we want excellent service.
Yes, ma'am.
You've managed things quite horribly. When I plan something, it takes place. Where are you going?
Oh, I'd just like to see who's on the other side of that screen.
Good evening, Mrs. Levi.
Well, who is it?
Oh, just some city sparks are entertaining their girls, I guess.
Always wanting to know something. Always curious about something. Anybody who lived with you would be as nervous as a cat.
What's that you're saying?
I said anybody who lived with you would be as...
Horace Vandergelder, get that idea right out of your head. I'm surprised that you even mentioned such a thing. Understand once and for all that I have no intention of marrying you.
That's not what I meant.
You've been hinting around at such a thing for some time. But from now on, put such ideas right out of your head.
Stop talking that way. That's not what I meant at all.
I hope not. I should hope not. Horace Vandergelder, you go your way and I'll go mine. I'm not some Irene Malloy whose head can be turned by a pot of geraniums. Why, the idea of even suggesting such a thing.
Mrs. Levi, you misunderstood me.
I I certainly hope I did. If I had any intention of marrying again, it would be to a far more pleasure-loving man than you. Why, I'd marry Cornelius Hackle before I'd marry you. However, we won't discuss it anymore. Here comes August with our food. I'll serve it, August.
Yes, ma'am.
Here's some white meat for you. And some dumplings. Very tender and very good for you. No, as I said before, you go your way and I'll go mine. Start right in on the wine. I think you'll feel better at once. However, since you brought the matter up, that's one more thing I think I ought to say.
I didn't bring the matter up at all.
Sit down, sit down. We'll close the matter forever in just a moment, but sit down. It's true. I'm a woman who likes to know everything that's going on, who likes to manage things. You're right about that. But I wouldn't like to manage anything as disorderly as your household, as out of control, as untidy. You'll have to do that yourself, God helping you.
My house is not out of control.
Very well. Let's not say another word about it.
Besides,
Take some more of that squash. It's good. No, Horace, a complaining, quarrelsome, friendless soul like you is no sort of companion for me. You go your way, and I'll go mine.
Stop saying that.
I won't say another word.
Besides, none of those things you said I was.
What? Well, I guess you are friendless, aren't you? Ermengarde told me this morning you'd even quarreled with your barber, a man who's held a razor to your throat for 20 years. Seems to me that that's sinking pretty low.
My chief clerks, they
like you? Cornelius Hackle and that Barnaby Tucker? Behind your back, they call you Wolf Trap.
They do not.
All right. No, it looks to me as though, Horace, I was the last person in the world that liked you, and even I'm just so-so. No. For the rest of my life, I intend to have a good time. You'll be able to find some housekeeper who can prepare you 3 meals for $1 a day. It can be done if you like cold-baked beans. You'll spend your last days listening at keyholes for fear someone's cheating you. Here, take some more of that.
Dolly, you're a damned exasperating woman.
There. You see? That's the difference between us. I'd be nagging you all day to put some spirit into you. You could be a perfectly charming, witty, amiable man if you wanted to.
I don't want to be charming.
But you are. Look at you now. You can't hide it.
Listening at keyholes, Dolly, you have no right to say that to me.
At your age, you ought to enjoy hearing the honest truth.
My age. All you talk about is my age.
I don't know what your age is, but I do know that about Yonkers with bad food and bad temper, you'll double it in 6 months. Let's talk of something else. But before we leave the subject, there's one more thing I am going to say.
Don't.
Sometimes, just sometimes, I think I'd be tempted to marry you out of sheer pity. And if the confusion in your household gets any worse, I may have to.
I never asked you to marry me.
Well, please don't.
My house is not in confusion.
What? With your niece upstairs in the restaurant right now?
I'll fix that better than you know.
And your clerk skimming around New York behind your back?
They're in Yonkers, where they always are.
Nonsense.
What do you mean, nonsense?
Cornelius Hackle's on the other side of that screen this very minute.
It ain't the same man.
All right, go on. Push it. Knock it down. Go and see.
I don't believe it.
All right. Eat your chicken. Of course, Horace, if your affairs went from bad to worse and you became actually miserable, I might feel as though it was my duty to come up to Yonkers and be of some assistance to you. After all, I was your wife's oldest friend.
Dolly, I don't know where you got any such notion. Understand this now. I have no intention of marrying anybody. Now, I'm tired. Don't want to talk.
I won't say another word either.
Irene, I think we better leave. Here, take this and pay the bill. Oh, don't worry, it's not my money.
No. Here's what we'll do.
You boys put on our hats and coats, and if he comes stamping over here, he'll think you're girls.
What? Those things?
Yes, come on.
I've got a headache. I'm going to Miss Van Heusen's and back to my hotel. Take this money and pay for the dinner. Take this money and take this money. I've lost my wallet.
Impossible. I can't imagine you without your purse.
Someone must have stolen it. Or I dropped it in the cab. What am I to do? They don't know me at the hotel. I'm new. Stop eating the chicken. I can't pay for it.
Horace, I'll be able to find some money. Sit down and calm yourself.
Dolly Gallagher, I gave you $25 this morning.
I haven't a cent. I gave it to my lawyer. We can borrow it from Ambrose Kemper upstairs.
I wouldn't take it.
Cornelius Hackle will lend it to us.
He's in Yonkers. Waiter!
Cornelius, is this Mr. Vandergilder's purse?
I didn't know it myself. I thought it was just loose money wandering around that didn't belong to anybody.
Goodness, that's what politicians think.
Waiter!
Ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy tonight's evening of dance entertainment.
Irene, doesn't Barnaby make a lovely girl? He just ought to stay that way. Why should we have our evening spoiled? Cornelius, I can teach you to dance. No, he won't even recognize you. Come on, Barnaby, it's the easiest thing in the world.
Horace, you danced with me at your wedding. You danced with me at mine. Do you remember?
No. Yes.
You're a good dancer then. Don't confess to me now that you're too old to dance.
I'm not too old. Just don't want to.
Listen to that music. Horace, do you remember the dances in the firehouse at Yonkers on Saturday nights? You gave me a fan. Come on.
You come here often? You're discharged! I don't want to hear it, not a word! You're fired! Where's that idiot Barnaby Tucker? He's fired too! You're discharged!
You're discharged!
Ermengarde! I'll be thrown in jail for the rest of your life! I'll put you behind bars!
You can't do anything to me, Mr. Vandergilder.
Wow! Your life, Mr. Vandergelder, without purse, without niece, without clerks. Will you marry me now?
No!
Damn.
I could swear I heard a cab drawing up to the door. You imagine it. Imagination. Everything in life. Like that. Disappointment. Illusion. Our plans, our hope, what to become of them? Nothing. Story of my life.
Pray God nothing happens to the dear girl. Is it a long journey from Yonkers?
No, but long enough for 1,000 things to happen.
Well, we've been waiting all day. Don't you think we ought to call the police about it?
The police. If it's God's will, the police can't prevent it. Oh, in 3 days, in a week, in a year, we'll know what's happened. And if anything really terrible has happened to Ermengarde, it will be a lesson to him. That's what it'll be.
To who?
To that cruel uncle of hers, of course. To Horace Van de Gelder and to everyone else who tries to separate young lovers. Young lovers have enough to contend with as it is. Who should know that better than I? No one. Story of my life. There, now I have here a cab. Quick.
No, ma'am, I don't see anything.
There, what did I tell you? Imagination, illusion.
Well, I suppose if Mr. Van den Gilder had tended to your plans, he would have sent you a message about it.
Oh, I know what's the matter. That poor child probably thought she was coming to another prison, to another tyrant. Yet, if she'd known that I was her friend, and a friend of all young lovers, she'd be here by now. Oh, yes, she would. Her life shall not be crossed with obstacles and disappointment.
Well, I suppose Mr. Van den Gilder was sitting her down with someone.
Two can go astray as easily as... Achoo!
God bless you. Now here's a carriage stopping.
Well, answer it. There's probably some mistake. Achoo! God bless you.
I'm not going
you
in,
go.
Miss
You
Brown.
have
You
to
have no
go.
right. You
You
cannot
have
make a
to
man
go.
go where he doesn't want to go.
It almost sounds as though I heard voices.
Begging your pardon, ma'am. Are you Miss Van Heusen?
Yes, I am, unfortunately. What's all this noise about?
There are 2 people over there who Mr. Van der Gelder said must be brought to this house and kept here until he arrives. Oh, and here's his letter to you.
No one has any right to tell me whom I'm to keep in my house if they don't want to stay.
That's right, ma'am. Everyone's always talking about people breaking into houses. But I found there are more people in the world who want to break out of houses. That's what I always say. Bring them in, Joe.
This lady and I have no business being here. We jumped in the cab and asked to be taken to the station, and instead, these men brought us to this house and forced us to come inside. There's been a mistake.
Are you Miss Van Heusen?
Everyone's asking me if my name's Miss Van Heusen. I think that's a matter I can decide for myself. Now, will you all be quiet while I read this letter? This is Ermengarde and that rascal Ambrose Kemper. Now I know who you two are. Anyway, they're trying to run away. Story of my life. Keep them in your house until I come. Mr. Kemper, you have nothing to fear. Who are you?
I'm Joe. I stay here till the old man comes. He owes me $15.
That's right, ma'am. We must stay here to ensure that they don't escape.
My dear child, take off your things. We'll all have some coffee. You two go out and wait in the hall. I'll send the coffee out to you. Cook, take them.
Ma'am, we're not the people you're expecting, and there's no reason for you to...
Mr. Kemper, I'm not the tyrant you think I am.
But Miss Van Heusen...
You don't have to be afraid of me. I know you're trying to run away with this innocent girl. All my life I've suffered from the interference of others. You shall not suffer as I did, so put yourself entirely in my hands. Ermengarde. Where's your luggage?
Oh, I'll find it in the morning. It's been mislaid.
Mislaid, how like a life. Well, Ermengarde, you shall put on some of my clothes.
I know I wouldn't be happy, really.
She's a shy little thing, isn't she? Timid little darling. Cook, go and put some gingerbread in the oven and get the coffee ready.
Yes, ma'am.
While I go and draw a good hot bath for Ermengarde.
Oh, Miss Van Heusen.
Believe me, Ermengarde, your troubles are at an end. You two will be married tomorrow. My dear, you look just like I did at your age. And your sufferings have been as mine. While you're bathing, I'll come and tell you the story of my life.
I don't want to take a bath. I always catch a cold.
No, dear, you won't catch cold. I'll dry you all over. I'll be back in a minute.
Barnaby, Do you think we could jump down from this window?
Yes, we'd kill ourselves.
We'll just have to stay here and wait for something to happen. Barnaby, this situation's getting desperate.
It began getting desperate about 4:30. It's been getting worse ever since. Now I have to take a bath and get dried all over.
Those wet things on. Your bath's nearly ready. Mr. Kemper, you come into the kitchen and put your feet in the oven. What's that? It's the doorbell. I expect it's your uncle.
There's the doorbell. It's another man and a girl in a cab.
Well, let them in. Come with me. Come, Ermengarde.
But I don't want to take a bath. I had one on Saturday.
But I'm Ermengarde.
There's been some mistake. Come in anyway, but there's been some mistake. I'll tell Miss Van Heusen who you think you are, but there's been some mistake.
But I tell you, I am Ermengarde. I'm Mr. Van der Gelder's niece.
Beg your pardon, miss, but you can't be Miss Ermengarde.
But here I am, and that's my baggage.
Well, I'll tell Miss Van Heusen who you think you are, but she won't like it.
You'll be all right now, Ermengarde. I'd better go before she sees me.
Oh no, you must stay. I feel so strange here.
I know, but Mr. Vandergiller will be here in a minute, and...
No, Ambrose, you can't leave me. You can't leave me in this house with these drunken men in the halls. Let's say my uncle sent someone else to take care of me. Let's say he sent Cornelius Hackle.
Who's Cornelius Hackle?
You know, he's chief clerk in Uncle's store.
I don't want to be Cornelius Hackle. No, Ermengarde, come with me now. I'll take you to my friend's house, or I'll take you to Mrs. Levi's house.
Oh, it was Miss Levi who threw us right at Uncle Horse's face. Oh, I wish I were back in Yonkers where nothing ever happens.
What's all this I hear? Who do you say you are?
Aunt Flora, don't you remember me? I'm Ermengarde.
And you're Mr. Van der Gelder's niece?
Yes, I am.
Well, that's very strange indeed, because he has just sent me another niece named Ermengarde. She came with a letter from him explaining everything. Have you got a letter from him?
No.
Really? And who's this?
This is Mr. Cornelius Hackle, Aunt Flora.
Never heard of him.
He's chief clerk in Uncle's store.
Never heard of him. The other Ermengarde came with the man she's in love with, and that proves it. She came with Mr. Ambrose Kemper.
Ambrose Kemper?
Yes, Mr. Hackle. And Mr. Ambrose Kemper is in the kitchen there now with his feet in the oven. Dear child, what is the matter?
I don't know what to do.
Are you in love with this man?
Yes, I am.
I could see it. And are people trying to separate you?
Yes, they are.
I could see it. Who? Horace Van der Gelder?
Yes.
Well, that's enough for me. I'll put a stop to Horace Van der Gelder's goings-on. Mr. Hackle, think of me as your friend and come into the kitchen and get warm. We can decide later who everyone is. My dear child, would you like a good hot bath?
Yes, I would.
Well, when Ermengarde comes out, you can go in.
Oh, Miss Van Heusen.
I'm Mr. Hack.
Not yet. I'll explain. I'll explain everything.
Mr. Kemper, this is Mr. Cornelius Hackle. Mr. Hackle, this is Mr. Ambrose Kemper. Perhaps you two know one another.
No.
No. We don't.
Miss Van Heusen, I know this man is not Ambrose Kemper.
And he is not Cornelius Hackle.
My dear young men, what does it matter what your names are? The important thing is that you are you. You are alive and breathing, aren't you, Mr. Hackle?
Ouch, Miss Van Heusen.
And this dear child imagines she is Horace Van der Gelder's niece, Ermengarde.
But I am.
The important thing is that you are all in love. Everything else is illusion.
Ouch, Miss Van Heusen.
Everyone keeps asking me if my name's Miss Van Heusen. Ouch! Now, you two gentlemen, sit down and have a nice chat while this dear child has a good hot bath. Well, answer it.
It's another carriage and 3 ladies. I never saw such a night.
Gentlemen, you can rest easy. I'll see that Mr. Van der Gelder lets his nieces marry you both.
Flora, how are you?
Dolly Gallagher, what brings you here?
Great heavens, Flora. What are those drunken men doing in your hall?
I don't know. Horace Van der Gelder sent them to me.
Well, I brought you 2 girls in much the same condition. Otherwise, they're the finest girls in the world. I want you to meet Irene Malloy and Minnie Fay.
Delighted to know you.
Oh, I see you two gentlemen are here too. Mr. Hackle, I was about to look for you somewhere here.
No, Mrs. Levi. I'm ready to face just about anything now.
Mr. Vandergelder will be here in a minute. He's downstairs trying to pay for a cab without any money.
Oh, I'll do it.
Oh, yes, will you, dear? You gotta pay the restaurant bills. You must have hundreds of dollars there, it seems.
Oh, this is Mr. Vandergilder's purse. I can't give it back to him without seeming.
Oh, I'll give it back to him. There, you help him with this now.
Can somebody please pay for this cab?
I'll get that, Mr. Vandergilder.
Hello, Mr. Vandergelder. $15, Mr. Vandergelder.
You're discharged. You two. So I've caught up with you at last. I never want to see you again. You two, you're discharged. Get out of this house right now, both of you.
Now then you. Stop ordering people out of my house. You can shout and carry on in Yonkers, but when you're in my house, you'll behave yourself.
They're dishonest scoundrels.
Take your hat off. Gentlemen, you stay right where you are.
Mr. Vandergelder, I can explain.
There aren't going to be any explanations. Horace, stop scowling at Mr. Kemper and forgive him.
That's not Kemper. That's a dishonest rogue named Cornelius Hackle.
You're crazy. That's Cornelius Hackle.
I guess I know my own chief clerk.
I don't care what their names are. Horace, you shake hands with them both or out you go.
Shake hands with these dogs and scoundrels?
Mr. Vandergelder, you've had a hard day. You don't want to go out in the rain now? For form's sake, shake hands with them. You can start quarreling again tomorrow.
There. Don't regard that as a handshake. Hey, I never want to see you again.
Yes, dear.
Do I smell coffee?
Yes, dear.
Can I have some good and black?
Come along, everyone. We'll all go into the kitchen and have some coffee. Horace, you'll be interested to know that there are 2 Ermengardes in there.
2?
From Levi, I'm going to get married again. I'm marrying Horace Vandergelder for his money. I'm going to send his money out doing all the things you taught me. Oh, it won't be a marriage in the sense that we had one, but I shall certainly make him happy. And Ephraim, I'm tired. I'm tired of living from hand to mouth. And I'm asking your permission. Ephraim, will you give me away? Money, money. It's like the sun we walk under. It can kill or cure. Mr. Vandergelder's money. Vandergelder's never tired of saying most of the people in the world are fools. And in a way, he's right, isn't he? Himself, Irene, Cornelius, myself. But there comes a moment in everybody's life when they must decide whether they'll live among human beings or not. A fool among fools, or a fool alone. As for me, I've decided to live among them. I wasn't always so. After my husband's death, I retired into myself. Yes, in the evenings I'd put out the cat, lock the door, and make myself a little rum toddy. And before I went to bed, I'd say a little prayer, thanking God that I was independent, that nobody else's life was mixed up with mine. And one night, after 2 years of this, an oak leaf fell out of my Bible. I'd placed it there the day my husband asked me to marry him. A perfectly good oak leaf, but without color and without life. And on that, I realized that I was like that oak leaf. And on that night, I decided to rejoin the human race. Yes, we're all fools, and we're all in danger of destroying the world with our folly. But the surest way to keep us out of harm is to give us the 4 or 5 human pleasures that are our right in the world. And that takes a little money. The difference between a little money and no money at all is enormous and can shatter the world. And the difference between a little money and an enormous amount of money is very slight, and that also can shatter the world. Money. I've always felt money, pardon my expression, is like manure. It's not worth a thing unless it's spread about encouraging young things to grow. Anyway, that's the opinion of the second Mrs. Vandergelder.
Miss Van Heusen asked me to bring these to you.
Thank you both. Sit down and rest yourself. What's been going on in the kitchen?
A whole lot of foolishness. Everybody's falling in love with each other. I forgave them regarding that artist.
I knew you would.
And I made Cornelius Hackle my partner.
You won't regret it.
Dolly, you said some awful things about my house and everything today.
Let's not say another word about it.
Dolly, you have a lot of faults.
Oh, I know what you mean.
You're bossy, scheming, inquisitive.
Go on.
But you're a wonderful woman, Dolly. Marry me.
Horace, stop right there.
I know. I've been a fool about Mrs. Malloy and that other woman. But please, forgive me and marry me.
Horace, I don't dare. No, I don't dare.
What do you mean?
You know as well as I do that you're the first citizen of Yonkers. Naturally, you'd expect your wife to keep open house, to have scores of friends in and out all the time. Any wife of yours should be used to that kind of thing.
Dolly, you can live any way you'd like.
Horace, you can't deny it. Your wife would have to be a somebody. Answer me. Am I a somebody?
You are. You are. Wonderful woman.
Oh, you're partial. No, Horace, it won't be enough for you to load your wife with money and jewels, to insist she be a benefactress to half the town. No, she must be a somebody. Do you really think I have it in me to be a credit to you?
Dolly, everybody knows you could do anything you wanted to.
I'll try. With your help, I'll try. And by the way, I found your purse.
Where did you? Wonderful woman.
It just walked in my hand. I don't know how I do it. Sometimes I frighten myself. Money walks out of my hands too.
No, keep it.
Horace, I never thought I'd ever hear you say a thing like that.
Oh, excuse me. I didn't know anybody was here.
Didn't know anybody was here. Idiot!
Come in, Barnaby, come in.
Come in, Barnaby. Come in.
Cornelius is going to marry Mrs. Malloy.
Isn't that fine? Horace.
Barnaby, go in there and tell everybody that Mrs. Levi has consented to...
Finally consented.
Finally consented to being my wife.
Holy cabooses! Hey, listen everybody. Mr. Vandergelder is going to marry Mrs. Levi.
That's wonderful. Dolly, that's the best news I ever heard. There isn't any more coffee. There isn't any more gingerbread. But there are 3 couples in my house, and they're all going to get married. And did you know? One of those ermine guards wasn't a dear little girl at all. She was a boy. Well, that's what life is. Disappointment, illusion.
There isn't any more coffee. There isn't any more gingerbread. And there isn't any more play. But there's one more thing we have to do. Barnaby, come here. I think the youngest person here ought to tell us what the moral of the play is.
I think it's about adventure. The test of adventure is when you find yourself in the middle of it and you say to yourself, oh, now I've got myself into an awful mess. I wish I were sitting quietly at home. And the sign that something's wrong with you is when you find yourself sitting quietly at home, wishing you were having lots of adventures. So we'd like to thank you for coming tonight. And we hope that in your lives, you have just the right amount of sitting quietly at home and just the right amount of adventure. Good night.
Thank you, thank you. You guys, I know that was a tough story to follow because you didn't see Act 1, but you were attentive, respectful, and so supportive of your peers. Thank you so much for coming.